Hello everyone, welcome to a new reading. Today I will continue with the Baby Monster individual readings, and I've been meaning to do Ahyeon's reading for such a long time. Like, remember that last time I did a Baby Monster reading? Yeah, the week after I was supposed to upload this reading. And then many months later, here we are today. So, like, you guys have no idea. Like, I will write on my planner, record this. And I've been meaning to record this video for months. And I just haven't gotten around to it. So let's hope today's the day. And let's hope today is also the day you guys see this video. Whenever that is. Anyway. So in this individual reading, we are going to check 4 different sections of her life. We're going to check her current energy, her career, her love life, and then any healing messages that come through. In the description below, I will have the timestamps in case you want to jump around different sections. And with all of that being said, let's just jump into Ahyeon's current energy. And also, pardon me if I said her name wrong. My bad. So, what is Ahyeon's current energy? So the first card that just jumped out is the Six of Feathers, or the Six of Swords. The 10 of Shells reverse, or the 10 of Cups reverse. And one more card. Ooh, sure. I said one more card, but 4 came out. Oof. We have the 4 of Acorns, or the 4 of Wands. We have the Sun. We have the Ace of Shells reverse, or the Ace of Cups reverse. And then we have the Queen of Acorns, or the Queen of Wands. So that's very positive energy here. Actually, most of her cards are very good. So the Six of Swords, here we have transition and insight, but the Six of Swords could talk about travel or moving from one place to the other. The Six of Feathers is also talking about, I believe this is a dragonfly, so I don't know what that means, but if it's relevant to her reading, I might add it. But the Six of Feathers also talks about someone that is walking away from like a problem or from a situation that is very chaotic and stressful. So I do feel that with Ahyeon, one of the things that she's currently working on, or one of the things that she's currently doing, is practicing isn't there a book called like that? The Art of Not Giving a Fuck. But with her, I think one of the things that she's working on is not paying attention to problems, not paying attention to people that just want to create conflict and chaos for no reason. There is a sense of like she's learning how to keep her mind at peace, how to avoid problems. I'm not saying that she's going through this unhealthy way of being avoidant, as much as I'm just saying that she's picking her battles wisely. So instead of just arguing with everyone for the sake of arguing, I'm not saying that she's like this. I'm just saying that one of the things that she's learning is just learning that when to speak up and when to just say, this person is not worth my time. That kind of energy. So she is just transitioning into this new way of viewing things and this new way of going about solving problems as well, that has helped her have a more peaceful mind. Now, the 10 of Shells reverse. So this is a tough card to have reverse. So what I mean by that is that the 10 of Shells, or the 10 of Cups, is a very positive card. It's a happily ever after. It's a fairy tale type of ending. It's emotional satisfaction and fulfillment. With it being reversed, I do feel that one of the things that she's going through right now is that she finds it very difficult to dream. She finds it very difficult to romanticize life. And what I mean by that is that she is being very practical and logical, and she is practicing a very tangible reasoning to the point that she finds it very difficult to dream. She finds it very challenging to look at the path ahead with an optimistic mind, and just being able to dream and visualize her future. She is finding it very, very difficult to think of a fairy tale type of ending and like working towards that. So what I mean by this is not necessarily that she is not being delusional, as much as I'm saying that she's finding it very difficult to think of a happily ever after or think about a future in a positive way. I think right now she's very preoccupied with her present moment, and she's also trying to, those times she's getting jaded. That's what I'm getting at. one of the things about growing up is that sometimes we reach this point in our lives that it is just very difficult to get into with our creativity. And I think that she's reaching that point where she's finding it very difficult to visualize her future in a positive way. I'm not saying that she has a negative mentality, because later we're going to see many other cards that talk otherwise, but I do feel that when it comes to the emotional aspect of things, maybe even the intuitive aspect of things, she finds it very challenging to connect to that side. So wishing from her heart, she's finding that challenging. Connecting to her emotions, she's finding that a bit difficult. And just being able to think about the future in a positive, sentimental way, she's finding that very challenging at the moment. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing as much as I think that that's just kind of like part of the journey about growing up. And also, it's pretty normal to start getting a bit jaded with with life as it becomes challenging and harder to accomplish our goals and our dreams. So I do feel that with her, it is like if in the future she, for example, wants to get married and have kids, that is a very distant future, and she finds that very hard to believe right now. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because usually the Ten of Shells or the Ten of Cups usually shows a family. It shows a parent, it shows a couple and their kids. And then there's like this rainbow with all 10 cups on top of it. That's why it's like a happily ever after, is like a dream come true, dream fulfillment. And the other reason why I'm talking about children getting married and stuff like that is because of the Four of Acorns. So the Four of Acorns or the Four of Wands usually talks about celebration. It could talk about weddings, but it does also talk about home and having some sort of stability, even a sense of comfort. So with Ahyeon at the present moment, her home life seems to be doing pretty well or pretty decent, or like her space, like whatever she labels as her close space or her personal space, is in a very healthy place. It's very comfortable. It is free of negativity. It is stable. And it is one where she feels pretty content and happy with. I do feel with the Four of Acorns that there is a lot. She feels very comfortable with her. Here it says comfort and community. So this shows that she feels very comfortable with the staff. She feels comfortable with the group. She feels comfortable with the fans. Like, she feels pretty happy. She feels pretty satisfied. And she seems to have a very positive mindset, or a very positive relation idea of her community. Like, whoever or whatever she defines as community, or as her close group, or as her work environment, even, she feels very happy with it. She feels very comfortable, and because of that, I do feel that she feels very optimistic about her present moment. Also with the sun, we have vitality and joy. To me, the sun also talks about inner child healing. So I do feel that right now she's being very optimistic, very happy, very content, and she's just moving forward with this very positive mindset. And one of the reasons why she has such a positive mentality is because she feels comfortable in her community. She feels comfortable in the space that she's working in. But here we go. We have the Ace of Shells reversed. Now, this is a very positive card, but having it reverse is kind of like, oh, okay, so she's still working towards a couple of things. So she's not very welcoming to romance. She's not open to that. But when we get to her love life, we will see a bit more of that. Also, with the Ace of Cups, she finds it very difficult to feel abundant, or to feel lucky, or to feel emotionally fulfilled. And the Ten of Shells talks about the end of a cycle, and the Ace of Shells talks about the beginning of a new chapter, or the beginning of a new cycle. And I do feel that with Ahyeon, one of the things that she's working on right now is that her heart is very closed. She's super jaded. She's not emotionally connected. She finds it very hard to get sentimental. She finds it very difficult to connect to her creativity and her spirituality. And in this case, when I mean creativity, I do mean the sense of like just seeing life in a beautiful mindset, seeing life in an optimistic and hopeful way. I do feel that, again, she's being super realistic, super grounded, super practical and logical about things, and maybe even a bit detached. And because of that mentality, she's not superly emotionally connected to her life, to her future, and to her aspirations. There is this sense of like she's being quite detached from her emotions. So I don't think this is necessarily super bad or something to be super worried about, but I do feel that she will reach a point where she will feel a lot of discomfort because of this emotional detachment that she has. There might be even a time where she will feel very lost because of that detachment that she has, and it's kind of like we'll get to the bridge when we get there, right? Like we'll cross it later. So I do feel that as time goes by, she will eventually feel like this hole within her that she will have to kind of, this void that she will have to fill up. But at the moment, she's managing, and I think that's okay for now. But I think later in the future, she will notice that this emotional attachment that she has right now is going to come back up again, and she will have to kind of like feel that space. Now, the other card that you have here is the Queen of Acorns with passion and creativity. It feels okay. So, the creativity that she's struggling with right now is the emotional one. But when we talk about creativity in the sense of entertainment, she's doing well. So, her ability to do well in her job is not being affected by her emotional detachment. Um, she's motivated, driven, confident, beautiful, and maybe super musically connected to her work, to her career, to herself. Now, one of the reasons I'm saying that is the Queen of Acorns, or the Queen of Wands, is usually connected to music. It's also the card for Leo, so I do feel that, and also the Sun is the sun, and the sun is the ruler of Leo in astrology. So I do feel that there is this sense of like she's super confident, she likes to be under the spotlight, she's super creative, and this creativity is more in like the problem solving, entertainment, optimistic, lighthearted type of creativity. Again, not the emotional one. When it comes to emotional creativity, she's super detached, and because of that, she's not connected. But when it comes to other areas, so the entertainment side of things, being on stage for her career, like she's doing well there. So in that sense, her creativity is doing awesome. It's thriving. She's very optimistic. She's very happy, lighthearted, content, and again, she loves the spotlight. She'll do well under it. So currently, she's doing well. But I do feel that this emotional detachment is going to bite her in the future. But I do feel that this is something that she doesn't have to really worry about. And also, I don't think this is necessarily personal. So what I mean by it's not necessarily personal is that this is not something, this is not like a big hurdle for her, or like a personal mission that she has to, oh, a life lesson that she has to learn. I think this is just kind of like the normal course of things on how we are as a society. I think it's pretty normal that people reach this point where there's like emotional detachment in order to achieve goals, and then as we go along the path, we go down this road of like, I need to find myself. I need to, that emotional detachment that I had that helped me survive, I need to kind of like come back and connect to that side that I disconnected a long time ago. So I do feel that in the future she will eventually kind of like go full circle, and will have to connect to this part of herself that she completely detached from. But for now, she's okay. Like, she'll manage. She'll survive. So now let's jump into Ahyeon's career and see how she's doing there. We have last quarter moon in Virgo with a 10 to the detail. And we have look at the bigger picture with a full moon in Sagittarius. So that's two mutable signs with Virgo and Sagittarius. That means that in her career, there's a lot of adjustments, a lot of changes, and she kind of has to be a bit of a chameleon. So what I mean by that is just adapt, change, and adjust to her environment. Now, with the attend to the details and look at the bigger picture, it almost seems like a contradictory message here, right? It feels like life is telling her, look at the bigger picture, look at your big goals, don't lose focus of that. But at the same time, with attend to the details, it's almost like, but then have laser focus on all of the small things. So how do we balance both of these messages? I do feel that with Ahyeon, one of the things that she has to work on is to never forget what her long-term goals are, but then focus on the present moment. There is this sense of like paying attention to like the smallest of details, not necessarily in like having like this magnifying glass and just looking at every single detail. I mean, like super harsh on herself for perfecting these details. So that's a healthy Virgo thing, an unhealthy Virgo way of thinking. This is more about like having things planned out, pacing herself, having a routine, having this mentality of like not being too careless. So paying attention to the details in this case is more like, you know, taking care of herself, taking care of her work, and making sure that she is putting the time and attention in her career. But then look at the bigger picture. It makes me think of like, don't forget your intentions, don't forget your long-term goals, don't forget that what she's doing today will help her in the long run. So there is a sense of like going at her own pace and having a healthy routine, one that is in alignment with who she is and how she works best, so like that she can maintain that routine for like the long run. You know, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. That kind of vibe is. So there is a sense of like, don't forget her intentions and her long term goals, but then paying a lot of attention to her present moment. So there is a sense of like, look towards the future so she remembers where she's headed, but to focus in the present moment so she can continue moving forward, taking things one step at a time. So again, paying attention to the details is not having this magnifying glass and aiming for perfection. It is more about being focused and paying attention to her present day and her present actions and creating a healthy routine. So there's this sense of like having a routine and good pacing. Now let's take out some tarot to figure out what other details there is for her career. So the first card that came out is the Ten of Acorns, responsibility and dedication. And I think that's a mule, so I think that says something. But hold up. Let's see what else. So I'm going to take two cards. The card that came facing up and then the card that actually fell. So we have the Eight of Crystals or the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Feathers or the Nine of Swords. So in her career, it seems like one of the reasons why we were getting this whole idea of like pacing herself and having a healthy routine is because of how she sees her work. So the Ten of Acorns talks about someone that feels a lot of weight on their shoulders, being super burdened because of the responsibilities and the tasks and all of the things that they have to do. In this case, for her career, there's so many things that she has to do. She has to be persistent. She has to be stubborn. Now, when I mean stubborn in this case, I don't mean an inflexible way of thinking. I mean stubborn as in like super persistent in achieving her goals and like staying focused. So the healthy form of Taurus energy when it comes to astrology. So with this mule, there's a sense of like sticking to her guns, in a sense of like not forgetting who she is as a person, knowing what her priorities are, and then just getting her work done. Just hardworking, laser focus, one step at a time, but always moving. Now, the other thing, we have the Eight of Crystals or the Eight of Pentacles, and that talks about hard work. It talks about someone that is working in perfecting their craft. It talks about someone that is working on their skills and mastering them, but it also talks about someone that is just getting the work done. So this is, and I think this is on odds, so that makes me think of someone that is just moving forward, hardworking, and again, just getting that work done, which is very close to this Ten of Acorns or this Ten of Wands. And then lastly, we have the Nine of Feathers or the Nine of Swords. Here we have perspective and self-empowerment, but to me, the Nine of Feathers and the Nine of Swords talks about someone that is anxious, someone that is stressed, and someone that can't sleep because of that stress, because it causes nightmares. So to me, that kind of shows that right now, she is working on getting her work done, trying not to be stressed, and trying not to exhaust herself with just being exhausted. So I do feel that in Ahyeon's career, we have here that she has a lot of responsibilities and a lot of work that she has to do, and she's working very hard to not only perfect her skills but also to get her work done. And she's also working hard and not getting stressed and not feeling overwhelmed with everything that she has to do for her career. I mean, K-pop idols are very busy. So I do feel that she's just trying to make sure that she doesn't mentally exhaust herself with all of the stress that comes with all of the work that she does and with a little sleep that she's getting. Also, you know what I'm getting? Is like, you know how idols work so hard that they don't sleep that well because of all the schedules that they have? staying up late because of schedules and then having to wake up early for schedules. I do feel that one of the things that she's working on is how to not be stressed with other areas of her life, or not being stressed in her waking life, so like that she can sleep well even if she has like 30 minutes of sleep. You know those times when it happens when you're so stressed that you can sleep like the whole day but you don't feel like you're rested, and that's because of all the stress. And I do feel that one of the things that she's learning is like she can have a power nap of like 10 minutes, and if she's not stressed, she's able to like re-energize herself and like recharge her battery very quickly. Of course, it's not super healthy to do it very often and actually not sleep, but she is managing. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And one of the ways that she's managing is by making sure that she is walking away from problems, issues, and unnecessary conflicts, so that she doesn't have this unnecessary stress on her because she's a very busy person. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Now let's go on to her love life and figure out what's going on there. So what's going on with Ahyeon's love life? So a couple of cards just flew out. Well, just came out. We have the last quarter moon in Gemini with Clear Your Mind, which is something that she is constantly working on, and those purples are beautiful. We have a new moon in Libra with Know You Are Loved, and then we have a last quarter moon in Leo with Lighten Up. So one of the new things that she's learning, which I'm not surprised because usually newer idols get this in their love life: self-improvement, self-growth, and self-love. So with Clear Mind, it tells me that one of the things that she's learning is how to prioritize herself and how to not add unnecessary stress to herself by worrying about other people's problems or getting involved with other people's problems. Or there is a sense of like, if someone wants to come at her and is just projecting, she has this knowledge of like, this person's projecting their issues on me. So she is learning and understanding that sometimes if someone comes very aggressively at her or is angry or is trying to like pick up a fight with her, she's able to recognize pretty easily when it's someone that is just projecting their fears or their shortcomings or their lack on her, and they're just fighting because they're not realizing that she's mirroring back to them. You know what I'm getting? You know those times when you have someone that's very talented and then other people come at them and get angry at them, and they're trying to kind of like deminimize, is that the word? Like their hard work and their hard effort, and you're just like, you're just very talented, or you're just like gifted at this, so like of course it was going to be easy for you, and it's kind of like making less of their hard work. I do feel that one of the things that she learned is that when someone comes at her and is like trying to discredit her somehow, she has learned that sometimes people do this because of their own insecurities and their own shortcomings, and not necessarily because she's not doing enough or because it's easy for her. Like, she knows her hard work, she knows the time and effort she put into things. So when people want to discredit her for that, one of the things that she learned, or that she has learned, is to not take it personally. It's like, you don't know me and you don't know the hard work I've put in this. Why will I care what you say? Or why will I put weight and value to your projections on me, or like your ignorance on me? Those were the words that kind of came up. So like, I do feel like, for example, if this comes from the general public that is trying to be like, but she ain't that great, she ain't this, she ain't that, or whatever, she just kind of goes like, well, they don't know me, so why will I, what is it called, why will I put weight and value and importance to their words when they don't know me? And they, of course, don't know the hard work I put in this, right? So I do feel that by having that mentality, it has definitely helped her to not take things personally. And also, when someone, let's say someone's very stressed in her career or in her immediate circles, and they just kind of come at her very strongly, she has learned to kind of like put this shield and be like, back off. And instead of like aggressively trying to calm them down, is like, okay, say what you have to say, and like, I'm gonna not allow this to enter my space and my circle. So she has created a very healthy space for her to not take things personally, and that has allowed her to not be very stressed because she's not allowing other people's insecurity to bring her down. That kind of vibe. But yeah, with Know You Are Loved, it also kind of tells me that she prefers to just focus on the people that do know her, do love her, and do care for her, do want the best for her, and that she cares for as well. So that's why her community is the one where she feels very happy and comfortable and confident in, because even within her community, she is aware of who she wants in her space and who she doesn't want in her space. So what I mean is, like, you know how K-pop is. There are people that I'm like, I'm a fan of this, I'm a fan of that, but they're like the worst bitches out there. And what I mean by that is, like, there's people that I'm like, I'm a fan of this girl, but then they start selecting like who they like and who they don't like. And look, don't get me wrong, if you follow a group, you're gonna have your favorites. That's perfectly fine. Hyper favorites, love your favorites. That's all good and chill. You don't have to put anybody else down just so your favorite looks better. They don't look better when you do that kind of stuff. You just make the fans of that person that you love be be so annoying. It's not worth it, guys. Don't do it. And also with Lighten Up, it just seems like one of the things that she's working on in her love life right now with her self-love, self-care, and self-improvement is this whole idea of not taking things too seriously. Again, one of the best ways to avoid when people are like super like aggressively projecting their insecurities on you is by not taking it seriously. And by that, I don't necessarily mean like mocking them or angering them by minimizing their emotions or by not taking them seriously. It's more like, okay, this person is doing this stuff, time to cleanse, time to realign, time to detach. And I do feel that by having that type of mentality, one of the things that has helped her with that is by staying pretty positive and just continue focusing on her own thing and doing what she has to do to accomplish her goals and not focusing on what these other people are saying and allowing it to get to her. Of course she's human, and of course if someone says something that actually like strikes a core in her and is like an insecurity of hers, like their comments are gonna get like super amplified because it is something that she is already insecure about. So all I'm saying is that of course she's human and her emotions are there. So if someone says something hurtful, it will hurt. But all I'm saying is that she is working very hard to make sure that she can, in a way, rationalize when people say stuff so it doesn't get to her. Again, the Sits of Feathers that we saw earlier, that's what she's doing constantly. Which unfortunately is something that has to be done if she wants to survive in the industry that she's in, because it comes with a lot of criticism. Like, okay, look, criticism comes to all of us in all ways, shapes, or form, in regardless of which circles we're in. Like, think about it. Even if we didn't have the internet, that she's most of from like the corner will be like criticizing us. Like that's how it used to be. Like if we interacted and had human interaction with our community, those people will be criticizing us and making comments all the time. Our family could be criticizing us, even if they don't intend to. Though, sometimes we go like, "Also, when are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do that?" Or when are you gonna get started in this stage of your life? Those things can be some sort of peer pressure, even if it's not intentional. That one aunt that is like, when are you gonna get married after like years of being single or whatever? I don't. These are not things that happen to me, but I don't know why they're coming up. So I wonder if she hears stuff like that or yeah. Anyway, so all I'm getting at is that there's going to be criticism in any community that we're in. We receive it. We kind of have to deal with it. And unfortunately for her, as an idol, it's part of the course. So even though this is a good life skill to have in general, it will definitely be helpful in the industry that she's in. But let's see what else is going on in her love life. I'll just take this card. I feel like that was a little bit too much for me. So we have New Moon in Capricorn with your hard work is paying off. So I feel that in her love life, this card coming up is actually very good because it's just kind of like a reminder that the word that came up is que no se agüite, which the best way I can translate that is for her to not get discouraged. So to not feel bummed out or to not feel discouraged in this case because of her hard work, right? Like her hard work is paying off. Is like even if she doesn't see immediate results, in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, she's doing well and she will be rewarded. So that makes me think like if she's working on her skills and she's improving them and all of that, maybe at the moment she can't see how much she has grown. But if she compares to herself like a month ago, a week ago, or whatever, she's going to notice that she is improving. It's just that she's with herself 24/7, so she doesn't notice all like the gradual changes that she's going through as she is working on her skills, for example. Also, with her hard work, it's paying off. There are times that in the background she could be working on something that later on, when she puts it into practice in the real world, she will just pop off. Like she will just do well. And this is one of the reasons when people may criticize her and say, oh, this is very easy for her. Well, of course she's going to do well, in a way of discrediting her hard work, is because they didn't see all those times and all those hours and all that effort that she put in behind the scenes. And I do feel that as long as she doesn't forget that every little thing that she's doing is the reason why she's giving good results, then by remembering that, she will just continue to do well and continue to work hard and continue to maintain her routine, basically. Also, with this new moon in Capricorn, I just feel that she just needs to know that to not give up on her routines. So whatever she is working on right now, she is getting a step closer to her goals, and she's getting a step closer to her dreams, to not feel discouraged, basically. Like what she's doing is not worthless. It's paying off, even if she doesn't notice it right now. But let's take out some tarot for her love life to wrap up this area of her life. So the first card that came out is the Ace of Feathers, or the Ace of Swords, with mental clarity and foundation. Sure. Let's get one more card out. So the card that flew out is the Page of Crystals reversed. Okay, you know what I just got? This might date me a little bit, but you know the meme where it will be like a Taylor Swift song, and then instead of her high notes, or instead of her high notes, they would just place a goat. I just thought of that. So one of the things that just came to my mind, like that metaphor, just made me think that if she's working on her high notes, she's going to do well. Maybe it might go viral. I hate to say this, it might go viral in a meme, but I think she'll take it with a light heart, so she won't feel too bad about it. So I wonder if someone is going to do a meme of her high notes, or will do a compilation of her high notes and that will go viral. I don't know, but something like that could come up. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that what I saw will translate that way, or if the energy I saw just means that she's working hard on her high notes and it will show through with her performances. You know what I mean? Like I saw the goat doing those high notes, and I don't really know what that translates that in the real world, but or how it will be applied in the real world, but for now that's my interpretation. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, with the Ace of Feathers, that shows that a lot of the things that she's doing with clearing her mind and basically loving herself, respecting herself, and prioritizing herself has allowed it for her to have mental clarity, and that makes it easier for her to continue with her path ahead, continue with her journey, continue with what she's doing, focusing on the present moment, and not allowing this baggage to hold her back or slow her down. Also, with the Ace of Feathers, it means that she has a strong spiritual connection. So that mental clarity allows her to continue down her journey and down her path. Now, with the Page of Crystals reversed, this tells me that she finds it kind of difficult to think of a long lasting project at the moment. Like right now she's just going with the schedules, but she doesn't have anything super concrete, and that's something that kind of bothers her a little bit. I do feel that also she doesn't have a set routine that she's comfortable with, and by that I mean what we talked about earlier, that if she has a routine in her career, it will make it easier to stay focused in the present moment. But if she works on that, then it will be easier for her to digest her journey ahead instead of feeling overwhelmed or feeling super, like feeling this pressure of trying to be perfect. I do feel that if she has a set routine or a set schedule, it will be easier for her to practice in the present moment to improve rather than being like super laser focused on mistakes and trying to fix that. There's something about like just pacing herself correctly. And I do feel that this page of crystals reverse is saying that she hasn't found that routine quite yet, but she's kind of already working on that, or thinking of a bit more of this strong foundation of permanent habits or permanent routines, something like that. Something that is meant to stay with her a very long time. But to wrap up this reading, let's go into her healing messages to see what's going on there. So a couple of cards just fell through. They're not that many. I can handle that. Let's do that. So we have the Ant Spirit reverse with Time to Collaborate. We have the Spider Spirit with Make Your Dreams Real. We have the Dolphin Spirit reverse with This and That Are True. And then we have the Frog Spirit upright with Clear the Clutter. So with Clear the Clutter is basically what she has been doing already throughout her whole reading. This whole idea of just being detached in the sense of not allowing other people's projections and insecurity to get to her, to not take things personally. And I do feel that here life is telling her to continue with that and to also clear her space to make room for blessings in her life. That's another thing that just kind of came through as well. Also with the Ant Spirit reverse, it feels like a healing message here is telling her to work with other people but to prioritize herself, learning how to gain skills so she can work by herself. I'm not saying necessarily like having solo schedules as much as I'm saying of her trusting that she doesn't need to rely on other people. I don't think she has like dependability issues. Like I don't think she's like relying too much on others, but I do feel that this Ant Spirit reverse is saying that she needs to learn how to work with others in a sense of having an equal partnership rather than working for someone, if that makes sense. I don't really, okay, to me it doesn't really make sense because I don't really know what this is talking about specifically. I just do feel that this is a message for her. It's like instead of working for someone, it's working with someone. Instead of being underneath or above someone, is being unequal to someone as they're working together. I don't know why that could be relevant or how she could apply this in her life, but that's a message that came through. Now with the Spider Spirit with Make Your Dreams Real, this whole idea of what we saw earlier with the Ten of Shells reverse is like her not losing focus, what we saw in her career, but at the same time is like dream about whatever future she wants and not judging herself for the type of future that she's desiring. So what I mean by that is like, I want to be the most famous and richest superstar in the world. She shouldn't be ashamed of dreaming of something like that. How should I put it? Like she doesn't need to humble down her dreams. It's like her dreams can seem as delusional as she wants, because we never know, she could get there. Something like that. It's like dream big and then let's see where life takes you from there. Let's see what happens. There's something along those lines. It's like if she opens herself to dream whatever she wants, it will be easier for her to actually get something close to that, if not that thing that she's visualizing and dreaming. So there's a sense of like, don't allow limiting beliefs to hold her back from being ambitious and dreaming big, basically. Lastly, we have the Dolphin Spirit reversed with This and That Are True. There is a sense of like starting to open up her mind to the idea that what she sees as her reality is true, and when other people speak their truth or their point of view or their perspective, it could also be true. There is a sense of like there's not an absolute truth about something. At the end of the day, it's perspectives, it's points of views, it's personalities, it's perception. I don't know. Okay, I think this could be coming up because of what we saw earlier about not taking things personally. Is like the best way that she can digest that information when someone is coming towards her and they're just projecting. One of the best ways that she can like wrap her head around this is by understanding that they're people with issues and that they could be projecting their insecurities because that's just how people are. And she could just be a mirroring projecting to them that insecurity. And because of that, she doesn't have to make those people like, she's already doing a good job at this. Like, she's already doing a good job at not taking things personally and not holding it against those people. Like, she's not like angry at those people for projecting. She's just taking care of herself and clearing her mind. But I do feel that this dolphin spirit reverse is kind of telling her that it will be easier to deal with these people if she has this understanding that we are all people with baggage dealing with our own things and going down our own journeys. So like that, yes, she's detached, she doesn't take it personally, but then she also has this understanding that she could also be doing the same thing towards other people and kind of catching herself to not do it, but also to understand that if someone is projecting on her, that, how should I put it? It's like instead of like stopping that energy with this shield of like don't attack me, it's kind of like allowing that energy to just like flow right through her. And by that I mean it's like instead of like putting this energy to push it back, it's more like just understanding, and then energy just continues flowing. So something about like the next step, so everything is a bit more lighthearted, more free flowing, and less exhausting for her when dealing with situations like this. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a tough reading because I don't know if you heard, there was a lot of noise in the background because they're fixing the street and it's annoying. I'm still trying to get better. I don't know if you guys can hear that I sound congested as hell, but like whatever. I really enjoy reading for Ahyeon. Her energy was very lighthearted, pretty free flowing. Like it just felt like I was having a conversation with you guys. I just felt like I was just talking. Oh, okay, yes, I'm just talking. But what I mean is like I didn't feel like I was channeling too much as it was just like the cards were there just talking. I didn't feel like I had to interpret much of the energy. I didn't feel this baggage or like, you know, sometimes when you read for someone and your energy just feels depleted and drained. I didn't feel that with her, so I'm so happy about that. So yeah, I just hope you guys found this reading entertaining, fun, or learn from it. I'll see you guys on the next one, whenever that is, however that is. Thank you so much for all the love and support you have shown me and the channel. And yes, I'll leave that there. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.